Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are around this beautiful, beautiful world. I know that still for many of you in this amazing country, United Kingdom, and all the Commonwealth countries is still difficult with the loss of the greatest Queen Elizabeth II. But I want to tell you something and to remind you who she was. She was the wittiest lady in the world, I would say. The witty sense of humor she had was amazing. How many monarchs we know nowadays who had this kind of sense of humor? So take the example who she was and put it in your life. So celebrate her life instead of celebrating her death. I know that it sounds really not most probably for some of you appropriate, but this is how I see life. I celebrate life. And the Queen Elizabeth II was absolutely amazing woman. That sense of humor was amazing. She was using it with everyone she was meeting, including her own guards, right? She was a rebel since she was little, and she absolutely took her life seriously, and she took her duty seriously. And for those of you who take your life seriously and you take your duty serious and you want to leave a legacy the way how Queen Elizabeth II left a huge legacy to all of us, then stay with me, because today I chose a very specific topic. I'm going to speak about keynote speakers and TEDx speakers, because there is a lot of overlap, but there is also a lot of differences. And I chose this topic because I truly believe that many of you want to leave that legacy. You want to create a lot in your life and be remembered. And in memory of the amazing Queen Elizabeth II, I am doing this episode today because I absolutely admire what she did in her life. And put a yes in the comment if you do admire her, and join me to celebrate her life in a way to celebrate what we want to leave behind. Okay, so put in the comments below. I can't see right now the comments because I am recording this right now for Friday, because I'm in central London and I've got so many meetings and just unbelievable. It's amazing. But I'm going to read all the comments later on, and I'll promise I'm going to answer them. So let's just go directly with the topic, because it's amazing how same and different is to do keynote speaking and TEDx speaking. So with both cases, what I want you to remember is that it's always, because it's a speaking, you always have 3 stages to go through. You start with designing, then delivering, and then diffusing your speech. Okay, design, deliver, diffuse is something what I want you to write down, because these are the 3 simple steps to go through as a keynote speaker or a TEDx speaker. Now, again, there's so many common themes between those two, but there is also so many differences. So let's start with designing the speech. The first thing always people start thinking is, should I use PowerPoint slides or not? Okay, so when you design a keynote speech, I want you to think about how you want to be perceived, as someone who is clicking through slides and speaking through slides, or someone who is leading the speech. Okay, this is so important. Secondly, if you decide as a keynote speaker, I'm going to go through TEDx in a second, but as a keynote speaker, if you decide to use slides, then the rule of 3 is so important here, which basically means that you can put either maximum 3 words or very maximum 3 sentences on each slide. That's it, 3 sentences or 3 words. The best would be 3 words. The very best would be to actually put a picture which express emotions, because what happens is that the moment when you decide to use PowerPoint slides, that basically drives the attention from you, whatever you're saying, to the slides behind you. Now, if you're a TEDx speaker, that's exactly the same. The moment when you stand on the famous red dot carpet and you've got PowerPoint slides behind you, the attention goes from what you're saying to what you wrote down. That's why the power of 3 is so, so important. And again, much better is instead of putting, words and sentences, to actually use pictures of emotions. Now, be very careful if you're a TEDx speaker and you're using slides. If you're using pictures and using pictures of yourself or family members, you basically are showing someone people don't know, okay? And you have to basically explain what's happening, what they see on the picture. That drives a lot of attention from you to the picture and back, forward and backward, okay? So be very careful as what kind of pictures you're using, because the more pictures and slides you're using on a TEDx presentation, the more time you're going to need to explain what is on the slides. Now, I'm going to go to timing in a second and how you basically manage timing. But be very careful again with TEDx and using slides on TEDx. I highly, highly recommend you not to use slides, simply because the huge difference between TEDx talks and keynote speaking is that TEDx is not a PowerPoint presentation. It's not like a conference business keynote presentation. You can use them keynote slides, but not for TEDx, okay? The second element in the design phase when you're designing your speech is how you're going to show the wisdom what you are saying. Now, when I say wisdom, most of people is like, wisdom is only for TEDx, it's not for keynote speaking. Well, that is actually wrong. Regardless if you're doing a TEDx talk or keynote speech, you have to basically deliver your wisdom in a very short key phrase, because the audience always needs this kind of short sentence to remember in their mind, to stay after they leave your speech. So regardless how long is your speech, that is so important to have that key phrase which is going to stay in people's mind. They're going to remember that phrase. Now, with the TEDx, majority of the speakers, what they do, and I believe it's old style and doesn't work anymore. Majority of the TEDx speaker put their wisdom at the very end of the TEDx speech. It's too late, because most probably some of those people, like about 50% of the people who start watching your TEDx talk, are not going to finish watching your TEDx talk, because there's no key phrase to remember. There is nothing for them to catch except those stories, basically. And if you have very emotional stories, then yes, they're going to stay till the end. But usually stats are like this. Stats are that about maximum 50% of the people stay till the end of your speech to hear your wisdom. So if you're about to jump on TEDx, and that is my interesting, sorry, somehow my phone decided to, whoop, here you go, flight mode. My mistake. Okay, so what I was saying is that when you do a TEDx talk, make sure that you put your wisdom throughout the whole speech. When you do a keynote speech, make sure you put a key phrase, and you do use that key phrase throughout your keynote, regardless who is the audience. Is it a business audience? Is it like generic audience? And what is your topic about? You have to have that wisdom. Even as a keynote speaker, you have to have that wisdom through your speech, so people will pick that keynote wisdom and put it in their head and remember it after they finish watching you. Okay, so important to have that key phrase when you design your speech. And the third element of designing phase of your keynote speech or TEDx is, of course, timing. Timing is the biggest difference between TEDx and keynotes. Usually TEDx as you know, is maximum 17 minutes. It's written 18 minutes, but without the ads front and at the end of the video, it's 17 minutes. So you're very limited in time when we're talking about TEDx. I always recommend 10 minutes maximum because of the way how nowadays attention span is and how people watch videos on different social media, because TEDx goes on social media as well. Now with Keynote, what usually happens if you never ever had the Keynote speech, what you need to know is that you have to ask and communicate with the organizers, how long is your slot? Usually what happens with Keynote speeches is that you're gonna have about 20 minutes maximum, and then 10 minutes Q&A, or 15 minutes speech and 15 minutes Q&A, or 25 minutes speech and then 5 minutes Q&A. But it's around 30 minutes slot what Keynote speech is. It's very rare to have 45 minutes and to not have a Q&A nowadays. Now, if you're not, here's a tip, if you're not experienced speaker and this is the very first time when you are doing any speech in front of audience, if you're nervous because this is the first time and you're gonna, like, you know that you're gonna freak out, what I want you to do is this. I want you to call the organizers and ask them to do it as interview style. It's huge difference. First of all, there will be no other speakers who are gonna do interview style. So think about it, it's like the whole day is gonna go like speakers after speakers after speakers. And if you're somewhere in the middle, in the morning or in the afternoon, and you're doing an interview style, first of all, it's going to be very different from every other speaker, like just standing on stage and speaking. Secondly, you're going to have that time to prepare 3 questions, 4 questions, the very maximum 5 questions. I wouldn't go with 5 questions. I would go with 3 questions only. And I'll explain in a second why. But you have time to think about the 3 questions you want the organizers to ask you. And then you're going to be a lot more relaxed, because when you answer the questions, there will be no that specific structure to follow as a speaker. You take a lot of pressure off your shoulders to remember what exactly you're going to say, the way how you're going to say it, and then perform it on stage, moving on stage in a very certain way. Okay, so go with an interview style if you don't have much experience or you have very little experience as a speaker, because A, that's going to be very different from everyone else, and B, you're going to deliver it in the most relaxed, entertaining and powerful way, because you don't have to remember everything like a script basically to remember it. That's not possible for TEDx, sadly, because on TEDx you cannot do, unless you go on TED can be interview style questions and answers, but with TEDx is a speech with a script behind, following the exact rules of the TEDx headquarter rules. So be very careful with the TEDx. But gosh, with timing wise and using it for Keynote, go for it. Like, do it interview style. I was several months ago, I was on a huge marketing conference stage, and I was speaking. And I did my speech, I prepared it, and then when I went to the summit, there were few speakers actually who chose to do interview style, and I was watching it, and I was like, oh my God, why did I did that? Like, why I was like preparing and rehearsing for that stage, and then I was like, I should just do what the other people do. I really loved it, absolutely loved it. So that's why I'm giving you that idea for doing interview style. Even your experience, interview style is just like the most relaxed way and fun and powerful way to deliver a speech. Now, when we're talking about delivering the speech, this is the second step. So designing your speech is the first step. Delivering the speech is the second step. What is so important is that there is one huge difference between delivering TEDx talk and delivering a keynote speech. If you can guess that, put it in the comment. What is the difference? It is not, as I'm gonna wait a little bit, but again, I'm gonna answer all the comments because right now I'm not gonna be able to see them. But what I want you to say is this: it's not about delivering as of eye contact. You need to do eye contact with the audience, regardless if it's TEDx or keynote speech. It's not how you move on stage. Okay, there is a slight difference moving on stage, because on TEDx you're limited in, if you don't know, but you're not allowed to leave the red dot carpet once you're on stage. You have to stay in that carpet because the cameras are fixed. No one is going to move the camera. There's no one behind the camera to move and follow you when you're working on stage. That's why it's the rule to stand on the carpet and don't leave the red dot carpet. Where on keynote speeches, you can totally use the full length and the full size of the stage and deliver it by moving always with purpose. So that's not the difference. If you can guess what's the difference, put it in the comment again. To move forward, because we're already 16 minutes in, I'm going to tell you what is the difference. Is the way how you want to perform and look as a professional speaker, okay? And the way how you want to entertain the audience. When you use PowerPoint slides on a keynote slide, not experienced speakers, what they do is that they let the PowerPoint lead their speech. What I mean is that they speak, they click, they look at the screen, they know what is there because they wrote the slide, right? But by seeing the slide, they know what they need to start talking about. That automatically means that the keynote PowerPoint slides are leading the speech, versus the speaker leading the slides, which basically means that the speaker needs to start talking and then click with the clicker to change the slide so that people can see 3 words or 1 picture with a lot of emotions, which makes it very powerful. It basically exaggerates the emotions of what the speaker said. So I'm gonna put it down here. So it is PowerPoint slides leading your speech, like clicking, watching it as a speaker, and it's like, okay, now I know what to say, versus the speaker leading the slides as it is the speaker who is going to say the next, what is next, and then click, and then people are going to see pictures or words, which is going to really make it more powerful and more impactful, basically, as a speech. So this is the biggest difference as of using PowerPoint slides and not using PowerPoint slides, which is also the biggest difference between using PowerPoint slides in a TEDx talk and PowerPoint slides using in a keynote speech. Again, if you want to be perceived and to people to see you as a professional speaker, you have to know your slides. If you have PowerPoint slides, you have to make it so the speech is leading everything, that you know your stuff, to not use another word, right? So it's so important. Now the third step. So design is the first step. Deliver is the second step. Diffuse is the third step. Diffusing your speech is the third step, and majority of the people, regardless if they're TEDx speakers or keynote speakers, they completely ignore that phase and that step, and that is really jeopardizing their success, regardless if it's a TEDx talk or it's a keynote speech. And I'm going to explain that. There's so many post-speech diffuse strategy what you can use, and you can use them to diffuse, to really spread your TEDx talk or your keynote around. Now, of course, you're going to say, like, yes, but keynote is most probably during a conference, or something which you don't own the video and you that the video is not on social media. What stops you to call the organizers and say, can I have a copy of my speech? Nothing, of course. And don't forget something. The organizers are always keen to have visibility. Basically, by asking them this question as a keynote speaker, you're basically saying, I might use all of it or just excerpts of the speech, but it's going to go to all your audiences, to all your social media, to all the people you know, all your networks. This is huge visibility for them, but it's also for you. Okay, for you is also positioning, because you're positioning yourself as a keynote speaker. So always, regardless which stage you went on, just ask the whoever was the cameraman and the organizers, ask them for a copy of your speech. What you need to do here is to upload that on your YouTube channel, or ask the organizers to upload on their YouTube channel. Okay, if you have your own YouTube channel, here's the trick. If the speech is on your YouTube channel, that's perfectly fine. Create a folder on your YouTube channel which is called my speech performances, speaker stage, whatever you call that folder, but put all your speeches underneath this folder, because when someone lands on your channel, on your YouTube channel, they want to see where you spoke. And this is the best place in one folder to be all structured. If the video of your keynote speech went on another YouTube channel, you can add the video into that same folder on your YouTube channel. Because what's going to happen is that when someone opens that folder, what they're going to see is your own videos uploaded directly on your YouTube, plus a video which is on another YouTube channel, but it's also part of the whole sequence. This is a most powerful way to grab that keynote speech, what you did, and put it underneath your profile, basically underneath your YouTube channel. If you don't have YouTube channel, obviously put it as featured on LinkedIn and keep it there as featured. Put it on LinkedIn as a new job description, and put it like keynote speaker at that conference, and then add the URL link to that YouTube video, and then a very short description. And also notify all your connections about this new position as a keynote speaker. That is the quickest way to diffuse massively to all the people around. So I'm just giving you so many strategies in one, but all this works are magic. Now, if I now move to TEDx, TEDx is different. Let me just explain why it's different. Because you are not going to have ever the original file of your TEDx talk. Just these are the rules, okay? What you're going to have is the URL link to your YouTube TEDx talk and the TED.com TEDx talk, okay? What I want you to do is to use exactly the same strategy. Add your TEDx talk to your YouTube channel. Also, something what I always use, on the banner of your YouTube channel, you can add a button, a link. Sorry, I'm going to do it your way. At the bottom right corner of your banner, you can add a link, which you can call it My TEDx Talk or Watch My TEDx. And that, when someone click, is going to open the YouTube video with your TEDx talk. This is amazing way to position yourself as a TEDx speaker, okay? But everything what I said about the keynote speakers and adding that video to your folder of my speeches or like public speaking gigs, whatever you want to call it, add your TEDx talk in that folder as well, because that is so important, people to see there, and like drag it on the top. So when someone opens the folder, your TEDx talk needs to be on the top. Of course, needs to be on the top, right? So many other diffuse strategies. One thing I'm always asked, and I want to mention it here, is that people think that when they post on social media, which is a diffuse strategy, it's a very powerful diffuse strategy, they're going to increase the number of the views on their TEDx talk. That actually works up until 20% of the people who, like LinkedIn, call it impressions, Instagram call it impressions as well, Facebook call it impressions. So the number of the impressions you've got on your post, take about 20%. This is only the amount of the people who are going to actually click on the link and watch your TEDx talk. The power and the aim of the diffuse strategies to post your TEDx talk on social media is not about increasing your views. The power there and the aim is to position yourself as a TEDx speaker, to tell the world that you did a TEDx talk, to tell the world, like, I did my TEDx talk, I'm now a TEDx speaker, right? Not just like a title somewhere, it's like, I'm Biljana Georgieva and I'm a TEDx speaker. Now you need to also put it as different styles of posts, and that is so important. So the design, deliver, diffuse are the 3 steps. Let me just put them again because they're so important. And again, it's a difference between TEDx speech and keynote speech. Just be very careful with those differences and implement them. The steps are same, following the same steps, but when you implement the different steps, think about the difference. And the difference is not in the audience, is not in the topic. The difference is what and how you want to position yourself as. So I'm going to leave you with this. Put in the comments again below if you have any kind of questions. I would love to hear from you, as I'm right now in central London. That's why I had to record today's session, because I didn't want to miss giving you a lot of tips. And I want to also, last thing, I want to remind you that tomorrow is 1st of October. And on 1st of October, we always issue the top 10 world's TEDx chart, which comes from YouTube, the most watched TED Talks on YouTube. So tune in. I'm going to publish it as an article tomorrow. Come to my LinkedIn profile. If you're watching it on YouTube right now, LinkedIn, come on my LinkedIn profile. Let's see which speakers are in the top 10 in the world of most watched TEDx speakers. I saw a few TEDx talks already. One of them was published 3 weeks ago and already had like 230,000 views, which is amazing, absolutely amazing. I loved the topic. It was about autism and kids. So yes, I can't wait as well. Like, I don't know who is going to be in the top 10. I'm like you, like I get up on 1st of October, I collect all the data from all my people from my team, and we just list them by, sort them by number of views and see who are in the top 10. I can't wait. Tune in. I'm gonna see you tomorrow through my article. I'm wishing you an amazing Friday. Be well. I'm sending you a lot of love and a lot of energy, and I'm gonna see you next Friday.